Hey, Morgan.
Hey, Alexis.
Welcome to this week's session of Switching the Narrative podcast. We're your hosts, Alexis and Morgan. Today, we plan on talking about FOMO. But before we get into that, this is going to be our final episode of the season. So we just wanted to talk about where we're going to be for the next couple of weeks and our plans for season 2 rather than do our normal happy moment segment.
Yeah, just because, after this episode, we do plan on taking a 6-week hiatus, not necessarily from like social media. We still plan on like being pretty active on our stories and kind of letting you guys know what's going on through there. But as far as, our episodes, this is going to be our season finale of our first season. It's so crazy to like already be here and in this moment. What started as like we talked about this all the way back in February and now we're concluding our first season. That's so crazy.
I know, like we've been actively recording for the past 10 weeks, had some time off in between. It doesn't even seem like it's been that long, but it feels long. Like, I don't know, not that long, but also long at the same time. But
Yeah.
I'm just really happy we did it. It's connected me to a lot of different people, and I'm just excited to see where we go from here.
I'm excited to see how we like implement new things into like our future seasons and how we like get to create more and even better content in the future too. Like we'll actually have time, I think, to plan out our content, how we want to go about it. We're going to be rebranding. We came up with some really cool ideas for doing that with each season. So there's just going to be a lot of cool things that are up and coming that we'll have more time to focus on. It's just been like our first season, we've learned like it's been more focused on recording, editing, posting, and now we'll have some time in between for like doing the fine details in content.
Right. I like this was all so new, like a complete like learning curve. Like me and Morgan didn't know how to edit. We didn't know how to record, like nothing. We had a lot of like supportive people that helped to walk us through everything, but now we're kind of like semi-seasoned vets and we're hoping to come back stronger and not have as hopefully as many bumps in the roads now that we're going to be more prepared and everything. And yeah, we want to do a big rebranding just so that we're not going to we're growing, and we want it to match
different.
Yeah. We look different.
Lexus no longer has pink hair. I cut off like 4 inches. Like we look different.
Yeah, we change with the seasons and with season 2 we plan on having more guests. We're gonna have some pretty interesting topics too. Like we're gonna talk about manic pixie dream girls, how to navigate politics in your relationship, so much more. And we're really excited for that. But without further ado, I think it's time to get into our topic for the day.
Yes. Okay. So Lexus kind of brought it up in the very beginning. We're talking about FOMO. And for those of you that don't know, FOMO is short for the fear of missing out. So basically, have you ever experienced FOMO?
Yes, 100,000% every single day. It feels. Yeah, I started experiencing FOMO like super early on. Like when I first heard that term, I was like, oh crap, there's a term for what I'm feeling. I felt this a lot in high school because of how sheltered I was by my parents. But as an adult, it's just developed into like this whole new monster because it feels like social media aids in that feeling so much more for everyone.
Before all of this, it was definitely like, yes, you could feel FOMO, but I think at such a smaller scale because you didn't have like the presence of people on social media painting their lives however they wanted to. You kind of saw what you saw and you took that, like whether it was a neighbor or it was like visiting a friend's house and like certain things like that. So I think it's definitely expanded a lot, thanks to social media. Thanks, but no
Yeah.
thanks.
I mean, like people are posting, I mean, they're usually only posting the highlights of their lives, but then there's some people that you're just like, how are you on 10 vacations a year, girl? Like, what the fuck?
Hmm.
I don't understand. Like, it makes you feel like, what am I not doing that they are doing that is making me miss out on opportunities like that? And
Yeah.
yeah, we both have stories that can intertwine about this, but just a general description of FOMO, and if we didn't explain it well enough, is it's the fear of missing out. It refers to the feeling or perception that others are having more fun, living better lives, or experiencing better things than you are. It involves a deep sense of envy and affects your self esteem. It is often exacerbated by social media sites like Instagram and Facebook. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like I learned that it can be that, and the way that I experience it though is how, and this is also a form of FOMO, is you are feeling like you're missing out on things that are important to you, like important moments that you should be experiencing in your life as well. If you're not experiencing that, and maybe you see others, or you're just recognizing that you're not experiencing something that you want to, you tend to have this feeling, because it's something that's important to you. And that's something that I've really related to. I mean, not to say that I haven't also experienced, from your above description of FOMO as well, but like when you were talking about that, I was like, oh, that's actually, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point too.
How have like what's an example of something you've gone through that made you experience FOMO?
Uh, well, like one of the ones that I experienced in the past that really affected me, that I've just gotten over, is the fact that like after high school, everybody, how in high school they have the scholarship assembly, or the
Oh my
scholarship ceremony.
God. I was just thinking about that thing the other day because I'm applying for scholarships right now. Yes, I remember. And uh it was when like they were calling out people's names and announcing how much money they were awarded for scholarships, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, my chance of like going to college, my mom kind of made that decision for me, that she felt that community college, she wanted me to go to community college first, so that way she could see that I was going to take it serious before she quote unquote spent money for me to go to a university. um and I just really didn't get that opportunity. I could have totally taken it into my own hands, but you look at our parents as our advisors in a sense as well. And my high school advisor really wasn't the best either. But you see like the scholarship ceremonies, and then you see people like talking about their like colleges that they're going to, things like that. I had a really hard time coming to terms with the fact that all of my friends were going to universities and I was going to community college. And I don't mean to say this in like a negative connotation, because I'm glad I went to community college first. Like I'm so, so glad. But in that time, and as a teenager and as a senior in high school, it sucked. Seeing everybody like super excited, and seeing like the parents at these assemblies, it made me feel, one, so stressed. Like, what am I doing with my life? Basically, if I'm going to community college and I'm not, why am I not going to university? Why does my mom think that I'm not ready for university? And then also I was depressed because I'm like, so this is where it ends with me and my friends, like me being very melodramatic teenager. I'm like, that's where it ends with me and my friends.
It does feel like that because that's like the most dramatic thing you probably had experienced up to that point. And you only have the perspective of what, like a 17, 18-year-old at the time.
Yeah.
I definitely felt the same way. Most of my friends were going to like ASU, NAU, and like I'm kind of I'm glad but not glad that I didn't go to university, because I honestly didn't know what I was planning on doing. I was so stressed out my entire like senior year, and like I said before, my parents didn't they got their GEDs. They didn't go to college or anything afterwards. So I didn't really have like anyone to really go to besides like an advisor. But like, do you think a kid knows how to like navigate through that without the help of parents and stuff? So like I
Mhm.
was resentful of that, but I'm glad I didn't, because like honestly, I wouldn't have even known what I wanted to do because I was so confused. But I remember thinking like, am I going to become like another statistic of just someone that, or am I just not going to be someone great? And I was like, my friends are going to have dorms. I'm still at home living with my parents. Like, they're going to have so much
Mhm.
fun. And like, I didn't have like the partying experience in high school or get to like go out to the movies or like have a lot of fun because like my parents were so strict. And I thought like college, like I kind of looked forward to college. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I looked forward to it because I was like, I'm going to be able to get away from everything and live my best life. And then when that didn't happen, I was like, oh fuck, I guess I'm the only one that can change what's happening to me now that my parents didn't help me with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that a lot too. And coming from like the setting that I was in high school too, that's all everybody was talking about was what university they were going to, like what they got for scholarships, what programs they were going in. And honestly, like you said, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had my mom telling me I need to be a pharmacist because pharmacists make so much money. But then I had my dad telling me that I need to go to school for business because a business degree is the most reliable and you can get a job anywhere with a business degree. So I wasn't really going to school for myself. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I was looking within those fields. So I was looking, okay, what kind of business degrees can I go to school for? And I picked, I think it was like marketing analyst or something that seems boring to me. um and I hated it. And right before I was about to graduate with my associates, I decided to change my major to um an associate's in arts because I wanted to go for interior design. And people will tell you all day long that you don't need a degree for interior design. You don't even need like a certificate. But it was something that I wanted to get education on. I wanted to learn about these things regardless if I could.
Mhm.
Um, but not to get like too off track, like in the grand scheme of things, everything ended up being okay. I'm closer than ever with my friends. We didn't like part ways after school and everything, but like that was just something that took me up until maybe a year or so ago to come to terms with is that, I don't think I really missed out on much. I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be in my life, and my friends and I are incredibly close still to this day, and people take different paths. It's just something that kind of happens.
But it sucked in the moment though, right? Like I remember when I was younger experiencing all that, and I would always look at my friends' social media pages. I would watch their Snapchat stories and look at all the parties they were going to and like see their experiences. I would hear like rumors and gossip and drama of what happened at so and so's dorm. I was like, I'm missing out on the drama. I'm missing out on having some excitement. I was so irritated.
Oh my God. So I have a funny story on this, and Maria, like, we laugh at it all the time. But so in the beginning, me and my friend Caesar, we went to community college before he went to ASU. And we would go out to the Tempe ASU campus to visit our friends. And one of our friends was Maria, or is Maria. And we go out to visit them. And when she would introduce us to her friends or like anybody, she'd be like, oh, they don't go here. They don't go here. so, so like she like, we were like all hanging out, and I think she was introducing us to somebody else. And before she said it, Caesar goes, "Oh, but we don't go here. We don't go here." And he just kept saying it the entire night. And it's so funny. Like, we didn't take it the wrong way or anything, but it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, like I want to make cute little college friends. Like some of my friends have really great people, like great friends that they met through like college. And the people that I met at my community college, I have no idea. Like I have not made a single friend through community college. It's one of those things where I think it's a harder community to build a connection with people, because it's class to class. Like you don't have like, I don't know, there isn't like a lot of time in between. But yeah, I missed out on, I feel like the dorm life, getting to live on my own. I ended up living with roommates. And if you guys listen to our second episode, you know all about that. But I just think that if I went to ASU, I don't think I would have met Rain. So we're just going to keep it there.
Oh God. Speaking of partners. Oh my
Oh.
God. So I have been, of course, going through it, and oh my God, so many people in my life are just taking the next steps in their lives, and I'm very happy for them. But it almost kind of feels like I'm being left behind in a sense. Three of my really close friends are moving out of state, and I'm very happy for them. All of the reasons are valid. It's great. I will visit them. But my partner also got a really good job opportunity in a different state, and we will be parting ways. Um, there's no hard feelings. I'm totally supportive of it. And I don't want to, hold anyone back from their dreams and everything. And I'm over here on my end doing what I can to pursue a better future for myself as an independent person. But I'm definitely starting to feel almost like I'm battling this a lot, but I feel very inadequate that I'm not doing enough in my life. I've just had to reevaluate, like, what is my plan? What am I doing for the next like 5 years? I just don't want to be stuck. And it is very sad that all of these people are leaving, especially my partner, but they're taking risks and chances out and doing more with themselves. And it's just inspiring me too. It overall does really suck. I don't know. Like, I feel like staying in the same, not state, not necessarily like same like residential state, but doing the same thing over and over kind of becomes like a prison almost. And like, I feel like everyone owes it to themselves to branch out, try new things. And I've definitely kind of feel like I'm missing out, but I don't know. It kind of like put like a little like pep in my step about everything. So I'm trying to make moves on my own. Like, I feel like with FOMO, you compare your life to other people so much, and it really like comparison is the thief of joy. And I have definitely spent way too much time comparing myself to other people, but sorry, this topic
Yeah.
is it's just like,
No,
yeah.
you make so many great points, and what you're talking about is real. Like, I am sure so many people go through that same exact feeling of just like being in a routine for so long and feeling stuck almost. And then you see like one person, or you see like a friend or a family member stepping out of their comfort zone or like doing something. And that's like instantly, and you could have even felt good about like your routine, you could have had a great routine going for you, but you see something that somebody's doing that is like different, and maybe you thought about doing once, and now you're questioning your entire like life essentially, like what am I
Mhm.
doing with myself, kind of a thing. And I understand the idea of wanting to see where you're going to be 5 years out, but like we've talked about it several times on how trying to like peer into the future and trying to control the future is just anxiety inducing all in its
Right.
own. And our only sense of peace is by living in the present. Um, but it's hard. It's so much easier said than done. You can find yourself thinking about the future subconsciously and not even realizing that you're like making yourself more anxious by doing that. You could have completely great intentions by being like, oh, I kind of want to be here by this time, by like trying to set a goal for yourself, maybe, but it's not. Then you find yourself, you know, a little bit down the ways, feeling the anxiety and feeling the pressure. And you didn't mean to do that for yourself, but it kind of like just happens.
Yeah. And I mean, it just sucks overall that things can't be like this picture perfect thing at all times, but such is life. uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, it speaks volumes to that you just need to do what's best for you, and that all of these people individually, even though they're only posting the highlights of what's going on, probably are comparing themselves to other people too. So I guess there's some comfort in that, but just that everyone is going through something, and if they have achieved like a high level of success, they probably struggled a lot to get there, or just
Hmm.
went through some sort of trial to get there, and now they're happily posting about it. And I try really hard not to look at people with envy, especially with what they post.
Yeah. Yeah. And like with what you're saying too, when you were talking about like your friends moving, I have been on this roller coaster of a struggle with being overseas. And to people on the outside, it might seem like, wow, like that's so crazy. That's so cool. Like I get told a lot of times, and I've gotten told by like family, you're in Germany, like you're in Europe, you should be living it up. Like, don't spend time like being sad or being like this. But it's so hard sometimes when like your whole life is five, almost 6,000 miles away. You know, your family, your friends, everything that's familiar to you is so far away. And not to mention in the middle of a pandemic, like it sucks that we are still in the middle of a pandemic right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Germany just closed its borders to unvaccinated, which I mean makes sense, but they're closing their borders to unvaccinated Americans in the US. So you can't actually travel to Germany from the US unless it's an emergency. There's some like emergency instance.
Mhm.
Um, so there's that. And then seeing my friends' lives still basically like carry on without me. Like I know that sounds it sounds bad, and I'm so happy for them. I want all of these things and more for my friends. It's just hard because I want it with them. Like I want these like memories with them. I want them here while also being I want to be there. And it's like I find it so hard to balance that sometimes. And a specific instance was two of my best friends just moved to Colorado, one of them moving out for like the first time. So, really big steps, you know. And I'm so happy for them. Like, it's a completely new environment. They're originally from Arizona. Um, and that they get to be like roommates, I think is so amazing. And so I saw like, you know, they're going away dinners they've had. My best friend just had her birthday, like seeing all these things. And it's just so hard being away. And when you want so badly to be there, it's so hard.
Yeah. And then, I mean, they had like a really fun looking road trip too. Even I was kind of like, damn, I
I
wish I was able to
know.
do something like that.
I know. And like, my other friend like went with them, and my friend's other friend went with them too. So like they got to go and help them get situated and explore like the area. And oh my gosh, it's like things that like I was literally contemplating booking a flight. It was so bad to the point where I was like, I need to book a flight. Like, I really want to be there with them. I want to so bad. This is such an important moment in their lives. And I don't know if this makes me selfish, but I wanted to share it with them so badly to the point where I had to set my phone, like I had to put my phone away because it would like, I hate that. Like, this is so embarrassing to say, but I would be happy, but it would hurt a little bit that I wasn't there. Like, it would hurt with every Instagram story. And I'd be like, you know what? I gotta put it away for the night.
Yeah, it's like you understand it logically. It's not their fault. And that, this is just what happens in life. But like, even with my situation, like with my friends, like very fortunate to have a lot of friends. And I live with roommates. So I get to have like that 24/7 like friendship interaction. So I'm not alone. And so therefore I'm happy for my friends that are leaving. But like when it comes to my partner leaving, oof, I'm like,
Yeah, I know. It's a different kind of it's a completely different kind of feeling, you know? It's like you want so badly to be happy, but
yeah.
there's so much to it.
And it's like you're happy for them, but you wish you were able to experience that journey with them. But I know
Mhm.
our situations are different. Um, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt any less. And yeah, I've had to really like separate the emotion from everything because once something makes sense to me, I'm like, all right, I can move past it. And like I've been doing really good with this information that I know, but like once I think about the emotional aspect of it, I'm like, oh fuck. the shit
Yeah.
the shit's rough. Like I don't know if you feel this way, but like I almost feel like I'm being almost like left behind or like
Mhm.
forgotten about because they're taking this next big step. And like it's I know that it's different, but I don't know, I guess it would depend on like the friends. Think maybe if it was my roommates and they were leaving, I would definitely feel like mm, I would still feel left behind. I love them. I don't want to move anywhere without them.
Right.
um but yeah, it's just so hard because you want to support them and you want to be like so you know supportive of their
Yeah.
journey. But I don't know, it just sucks. Like I didn't realize how much like this would affect me growing up, like how many people would like touch my life, I guess.
Yeah. And I how I feel is that being so far away, I feel I have like the fear of like being forgotten.
Ugh,
Um
yeah.
like I'm so thankful that I do like have like the friendships that I have, but there's always that fear because you are far, you know, and people will build extensions to their lives. They will build new friendships, new routines, your like new hobbies, things like that. And there just is always like the possibility that people move on. People move on all the time. And I I feel so stupid saying it because I know how strong my friendships are, where I don't think that could possibly ever happen. I literally have one of my best friends lives in Korea and has lived there for 2 years. You know what I mean? And she's like a 16-hour time difference away from Arizona. And what's that, -9?
Girl, I can't math.
Something. Something. So the time difference is pretty big, and we still have times where we get to like sit down and just talk and catch up with each other. One of my other best friends lives in California, where and she's going to school, like she's in her grad program right now, I believe. and she's like going to school full time, she's working, like she's a busy girl, and there aren't a lot of opportunities between both of our schedules where we get to like sit down and FaceTime. But I remember on my birthday we talked for 3 hours, like, or it was like early in the morning for me, late at night for her, and we just talked for 3 hours just talking. And it's like sometimes I feel crazy, and then I start having like that realization where I'm like, how could you possibly think these things with like the relationships that you have? But I just think it's the obviously anxiety of thinking like in the future I could get left behind.
Yeah, to me, it's like once you're out of sight, you're out of mind almost. And I
Mm-hmm.
know I don't think it would ever be like that with your friends at all because they're
Same with yours, like especially your two roommates. Are you kidding?
yeah, I was gonna say that, since things are, me and my partner are going our separate ways, um, and things are getting easier and everything, but I can already feel like, you know, we're quite literally going our separate ways. I am now focusing more on my own self, like you were saying, building these routines, these habits and everything. Phone calls become shorter, like went from having like 2-hour FaceTime calls to like maybe 10 minutes just to check on each other.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah,
It's
that
okay.
oh my god.
It's
that
okay.
that fizzle out definitely sucks. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, life goes on and I'll be okay because I'm me. And I mean,
It's it's never there's never going to be like the correct thing to say in situations like this. Like there's never going to be like, because it's not about what you say, it's about like the action at hand on like it doesn't change what's happening in a sense. And I think the fact that you're like very in touch with how you're feeling and how you can come to realizations and how you can process like what's happening, and how you said when you start like understanding why something's happening, the fact that you can come to a realization in that way, it just shows like your emotional intelligence, your maturity level in these situations. But it's never going to take away like the raw emotion of how you're feeling. And I don't think that you should ever have to cover that up with like being rational or being like a realist. You should definitely feel what you're feeling, and
mhm.
that in itself is real anyways. Do you know what I mean? And the feeling of being forgotten or being left behind, it's scary. And I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has felt this at some point in their life, whether in like a career or in a friendship, in a relationship, with like family, in any circumstance. This fear is very real. And it's something that I feel like should be talked about in a more serious way. Cause I know for me and my friends, we joke about it a lot. I'm everybody in my friend group knows I'm the one with FOMO. Like that's like already what it is. The amount of TikToks I get sent. Like we know, but it doesn't, like we can laugh about it and we could talk about it, but when we are living it, it is so real. The emotions are very raw and it's confusing too. And it's like you kind of feel stupid in a sense, like, why am I feeling this way? Like everything makes sense, like what's happening makes sense. It's not directed at me, it's not malicious. Like, why am I feeling this way? But it doesn't really take that feeling away all the time.
Yeah, I don't understand people that can just be so like black and white about things. Like it's easier for me to accept things once I understand them, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean I'm going to not occasionally get emotional about it. Like I know the steps to take to work through FOMO and how to get over the things that like, upset you when you view them online, whatnot. But Damn, like those people that are just able to compartmentalize everything. I'm like, how are you doing that?
Honestly, I don't think they actually do it. I think it's just like easier for some people to not deal with it. So they keep it off to the side. It doesn't mean that it's not there and it's not affecting them in their day to day. It might affect them with certain things that they don't realize is the root of like the problem. But I don't, people who do that, because my husband is one of those people sometimes that will just say like, oh, you just kind of take things too serious, or you're just, really sensitive. And I know he doesn't mean it in a negative or a malicious way, but it's like, because to him, he would rather not deal with it and not deal with the emotions that come with it. So he just kind of throws it off to the side. But then, like, whether it's a couple days after or a week or a month after, and things kind of just start festering and it just kind of like explodes in a situation, or doing things like when he makes his coffee and say like his coffee doesn't get made right, then it's like a big old issue. But there's so much underlining to it than just your coffee not getting made the way you normally like it. And that's why I said there's so much emotional intelligence that you have. The fact that you can see the issue, or you can see that this is what you're feeling and you're allowing yourself to feel it, instead of just like, I don't want to deal with this right now, and just saying like, I'm not going to deal with it.
Yeah, I think it's important to really honor your feelings when you are going through stuff like this. But all in all, with those previous situations, I'm very happy for all those people. Just have, my own insecurities with it because I so badly wish I could be experiencing those fun things with them. But, at the same time, it makes me realize I just need to amplify my own life in the best way that I can.
Yeah, and that you definitely brought up a good point. It's nothing that they're doing.
Right.
It's everything to do with how I'm feeling in those moments, and how I like my internal dialogue. She could be a little toxic. She could be a little like trying to tell me something about myself.
Oh, girl, tell me about it.
So it has nothing to do with my friends. I love them with my entire heart. It has everything to do with me being a sad girl. Just depends. Like, because there'll be times where I'll see my friends doing something or like spending time together, and I'll be like, oh, they're so pretty, or oh, they look so good. Like, it really is just on apparently how I'm feeling. I didn't realize I was feeling that way until I see something.
I mean, our internal monologues can be so toxic and so like bitchy, but I'm a firm believer in like what you think in your mind at first is what you're conditioned to believe. It's like your trauma response to things. What you say out loud and your actions are who you really are. And
Mm-hmm.
I have never gone out of my way to make any people feel bad because they're simply living their life.
Yeah.
And I stand by that. I'm happy I've never done that. And, I just want the best for everyone. I want the best for me. But if you're experiencing FOMO, there are ways to deal with it. One is like if you're in a routine and you are comparing yourself to other people and you're like, oh my God, like just what they post every day looks so fun. Like it looks like they have such an abundant life. Switch up your own routine. Like doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting it to magically become fun one day is just a recipe for disaster. Like change something up. I don't know, something as simple as your coffee syrup. Add
Mm-hmm.
like add something to your life to, like just some sort of thing that isn't the same could have like this domino effect with everything else.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a really great point. Another thing, like, why don't we change our perception of things? Like shifting our focus, or switching the
Switching the
narrative,
narrative.
if you will. Um, because I think, like you were saying, we spend a lot of time seeing how people perceive themselves online and wanting what we don't have, and we're not really taking the time to appreciate what we do have and what's around us. And I can, for one, say that I felt that for a while when I first moved to Germany. I wasn't even appreciating the opportunity and everything around me. Like, you can still be sad in some areas, but bringing yourself back to the center of your life and just remembering, like, look at what I've created, look at where I'm at, look at what I get to do. I think there's so much gratitude that follows with that. You know what I mean? And it makes it a little bit, you
Mm-hmm.
start being a lot nicer to yourself when you start giving yourself that gratitude and appreciating what we have in front. Like you were saying, switching up your coffee routine. I did that so much, and now making coffee or making like lattes or teas and things like that is like one of the best parts of my day. I feel so cute. I pretend like I'm a little influencer. Like, I'm pretty sure nobody cares about the
I
coffee
care.
stuff I post. Thank you. But I just like feel so good whenever I'm doing that, when I'm in that moment of doing it. And I used to also spend a lot of time like watching people do like hauls or doing things like that. And I'm like, I wonder how it would make me feel if I did that for myself. Like, I enjoy watching people do it so much. Why don't I try doing something that I enjoy watching and see if it brings me like that same amount of joy? And it does. And then I just start doing it on my own.
Right. And it's all about just noticing what you have in your life, because I can look at my life and be like, "Ugh, nothing is going on." Like, sometimes it almost, like, makes me crave some sort of drama, but I know that's not that's not a really good way to live your life. But I do often think everything I am now kind of like feeling maybe at times not as grateful for, I was wishing and praying to have that when I was like 15 years old.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like, one of the things is seeing, so my two best friends moved into a new apartment. My sister moved into a new apartment, and my other sister just moved into a new apartment today. And I'm over here like, oh, I miss when, like, I want to be there. Like, I want to help decorate. Getting a new space, like, that's so refreshing. Like, I wish. But then I'm sitting here like, I have a beautiful house. Like, I'm so fortunate to have like a house that I get to like be creative in. And I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I sitting here like thinking about things like that, where I literally experienced this myself, you know?
Mm-hmm. And side note, your house is so beautiful. Every time I see you post about it, I'm like, God damn, that is nice.
I, I wish I owned it. It's going to be the saddest thing to like, it's going to be so sad to leave. It's mine and Rain's first house together.
Mhm.
After like our apartment life, and oh, it's gonna be so sad. I sometimes I'll just like sit outside and I'll be like, how am I supposed to leave you?
Yeah, but I mean, you just have to appreciate it in the moment, live in the moment, and take it all
Exactly.
in while you can, because in a couple years you're going to look back on it and wish you were reliving it.
Yeah.
But just to close off that point, it's I really think that people should start doing things that they like completely on their own, by themselves, for you and only you. I went out to go get my a pedicure done, and I always used to ask my partner to pick out the color I was going to get. And this time I was like, you know what? I'm going to go by myself, not with any other friend or anything. I'm going to try out this new place. I'm going to pick out whatever color I want. And it was just so small, but like, I didn't post about it. I didn't do anything with it. I was just like, huh, this is nice and this is for me. Whereas, like, I don't know, like, say I posted it and someone else maybe wasn't able to get like their nails done or something, and maybe they would feel some type of way and feel like inadequate that they needed to go and do that. But I mean, like, sometimes it's
Hmm.
just nice to not have to post about your stuff. But I mean, like, I'm not against posting, but I feel like once everything is all on social media, we're contributing to it as well.
And we're doing it for like, it doesn't just become something that we're doing for ourselves. It kind of becomes a form of, I need validation on this.
Hmm.
And I've even fallen victim like in the past too, based on like likes or whatever it was. If it didn't seem like it was a popular post that I posted, I'd archive it. And I was just like, now like where I'm at, I'm like, I don't care. I will post whatever I want to post when I want to, kind of a thing. Like literally all I talk about is Izzy and my house these days. Like that's literally all I care about posting, because and I'll just be sitting there watching my stories over and over again because it brings me so much
I'm my own
joy.
biggest fan. I watch my own stories constantly.
I know. I'm like, I don't even care. Like I got like 10 people on my close friends list. I started just posting to my close friends.
You only have 10 people in your close friends
No,
list?
I'm being exaggerative.
I'm like, I got like over 100.
Yeah, I updated it to it's an all girls. Like my close friends list is like an all girls, besides a couple gays, a couple of my gays in
The
there.
girls and the gays.
Yep, And so I like kept it like that. And I'm like, because honestly, you guys are the only ones I care about.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so common to post on social media and record all the fun things you do, but another way to like just appreciate your own life is to journal. I talked about this on a previous episode, how I started journaling just whatever I wanted, not that it had to be like a dear diary, I did X, Y, and Z today. I have just
Mhm.
been like using that journal we had in the giveaway and just taking like 5 to 10 minutes out of my day to just write about something that really affected me. And it's just nice to go back and look on it too, because it's like, I don't know, it's like validating myself almost. And it's just nice to be able to have like those own memories that are my own. And I don't need any validation from other people.
Right. And imagine like if you don't know why you're experiencing FOMO or why your feelings are so heightened in that like moment, because like I said, there could be times where somebody might be doing something and it doesn't affect you in that
Mhm.
way, and then another time it does. I think journaling is a great way to write out your feelings and kind of see like on paper what you're feeling, and then it's a little bit easier to understand why you're feeling that way, you know what I mean? So it's not one pushed to the side and then kind of combust later on with something maybe smaller that you wouldn't normally freak out about or get upset about. Or
Mhm.
two, like you kind of have a newfound like realization of when you are experiencing this, you're able to identify it quicker, and you might even be able to come to a resolution
Before it gets
and
worse.
exactly, yes.
Yeah, I know that I start feeling really lonely when I'm having FOMO, and like I think a good thing to do is to reach out to just different connections you have in your life, spend time with them, because it's just, I don't know, I've taken so many like opportunities and chances this year to like extend my friend group, and then like even with you and I, like we built a stronger connection just like by chance. I mean, like we could have completely like fell off once you went to Germany, but we built a greater connection. And I feel like once you have like various connections and you're not so reliant on like one group or like one person, you have like this abundance of different people you can go to for fun. um just people that can fit like the certain niches that you have.
Oh yeah, and being like in a completely different country too, like making friends here is so hard.
I
And
can't even imagine.
I went an entire year. I luckily when we got here, our we had two friends that we had back in Arizona that got stationed there, so that was really nice to have. But I went a whole year and I did not like I didn't meet any new people. I didn't meet anybody. And I am so thankful for the connections that I have made here, because they're great women. They are such great women. And even some of Rain's friends, they're great guys, and we had two really great friends that we would hang out with every Saturday and just play board games. And it was something that was like I looked forward to, Rain looked forward to, they looked forward to. And we'd have like, they'd come over and we'd have breakfast, and we would hang out in those situations. And it kind of, it not kind of, it definitely helped me when I was when I was at a really low point where I was really missing my friends or even missing my family and missing out on like gatherings and spending quality time and things like that. Because sometimes it can be pretty general to just like wanting to spend quality time with people and not having someone to turn to spend that quality time, like when Rain's at work and I'm at home. And so it just kind of like, I'm so appreciative of the connections that I was able to make here, because I think that helped so much with my FOMO.
Yeah, and it's so important to have a community. I I don't understand people that are like, I'm a lone wolf. I do everything on my own. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's like a thing such as like toxic independence where I'm like, your life would be so much more fun if you just found quality people, having quality
Yeah.
relationships and everything. Um, and then just you have to really shift your mindset on things and show a lot of gratitude and let others know that you appreciate them in your life too. Because I'm sure like everyone is going through thoughts like this. And taking breaks from social media can definitely help like your mental health. I think we're so
Mhm.
overstimulated with hundreds of pictures every single day. It's like this capitalist society of ours is so like if you're not being productive, you're a failure. And when you see nonstop people being productive, you kind of look back on your own life and you're like, well, why didn't I go to the gym today? Why didn't I go to the grocery store? Why didn't I do this like X whoever did on Instagram? So
Mhm.
I've been taking so many breaks and you just have to go outside too.
Yeah, like okay, social media can be such a blessing too, because it can help you find, like, it can open new doors for you in like creativity and thinking of like, oh, I didn't even think about this type of a thing. And then you get inspired to do certain things, right? But when it becomes so toxic where you are constantly comparing like yourself and your life and like where you're at in your own personal process, like to other people that one, you've never met, two, have not lived the same life as you, that's when you really need to take a break and kind of put the phone down and be present with yourself and do something for yourself. And like you said, like with going outside, like people don't understand how like great it is to be outdoors and how great it is for your mental health, obviously for your physical health. Like it's insane. When me and Rain like started taking, we used to take daily walks just at the end of the
Mm.
day, like when he would get off of work or on our weekends we would go and we take daily walks, and that's what would stimulate so many like conversations, creative conversations on what we want to do in life, or like some passions that we've had or some thoughts that we've had in our day that like we're now remembering after feeling so sluggish and just feeling like, oh, like this sucks. Being outside, it can be so stimulating.
And I know that it sounds like how like doctors and like just random people are like exercise, go outside, like eat better. I hate to say it, but those things actually do be working. It's annoying, but they do be working. Think about it this way. Think about a time that you felt the most alive and the most appreciative of everything and like just the universe. I was not out. I was not inside. I was
Yeah.
outside. I was at Disneyland. I was at a festival. I was on a road trip. I don't know, just like running around in the rain with my friends. Like those are the moments that make me like, those are like the pivotal memories that I have. And I think, especially with the pandemic, we haven't been able to do so many of those things. So I think
Yep.
everyone's like feeling like they're missing out in their life. And, things are slowly, I'm not going to say completely back to normal, but slowly becoming like, now that we have vaccines and people are wearing masks and everything, it's getting a little bit easier So I think just making sure that you take those opportunities to go outside will like ease your anxiety, stress, depression, everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but honestly, you just need like a breath of fresh air sometimes and a step away from like your routine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I mean,
I
what else
think
could
that's I mean, I think we covered a good amount. I think we gave some really great insight of our personal experiences, as well as just in general of how I'm sure many of you have felt. If you haven't, bless you. Like, holy cow, I wish.
yeah, I'm like, what's it like to not have mental illness?
Right. What's it like to not be anxious throughout the majority of your day? Like, what's it like to go like a day of just feeling completely like content?
Girl, if you know the secret, like, please let me know. I'd rather not feel this way. But I
Yeah.
mean, like, when I feel like these emotions coming on, I try to take these steps into preventing this like big outbreak of like this big emotional burst of feeling left out and feeling like no one wants to be around me and stuff, by doing all those things. But sometimes you just really need to honor your emotions and wallow
Yeah.
in your self-pity, but don't be mean, you know.
Ride the wave. Yeah. Don't be mean.
Yeah, because when you're mad or like just high emotions, you say the darnest things, and you definitely don't want to be hurting people's feelings just because you were feeling some type of way for a minute. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, but I think that's all the time we have for today. Other than that, we'd just be reiterating the same couple of points. But um, if you didn't relate this time, hopefully relate in season two. We're so excited for all of that. And we really hope that you enjoyed the season. Thank you to everyone that has helped us along the way and has supported.
Yeah, it's been so crazy. Like it's really surreal. I know we talk about it pretty much every time we meet. We're like, "Oh my God, we're on our fourth episode. Oh my God, we're on our seventh episode. Like we're almost like to the end." And now that we're literally recording our 10th episode right now for our first, it's so crazy to just say like our first season, because who
Mhm.
knows how many will be coming, you know what I mean? But we're just, if you think about it, when it comes to our podcast, we are riding this wave. We are just in the present. We record all of our episodes like the days that we do, and then we post within that week. Like we're super focused when it comes to this. And like, even with the week we had off just to kind of recover, we still came back. And I'm really proud of like where we came in this first season. This first season has given us a lot of like things that we've learned. We've picked up a lot of like different things that we can now incorporate into our second seasons and our seasons to come.
Yeah, it's definitely given me something to look forward to. And I mean, this is something totally new to my routine and has made my life a
Mm-hmm.
lot more fun. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thankful that, especially to you, that we've been committed to everything and it's been so fun.
Girl, are you kidding? You literally helped give me a platform to just talk. Like, could I ask for anything better? But I don't think I could see myself doing a podcast with anybody else, Alexis. Like,
Aw.
you're my podcast girl. You're my girl.
Yeah, I'm like, like for a second, I was like thinking, I'm like, should I do something by myself? But I'm like, this was like before me and you had really talked about it. And I'm like, I feel like I need someone to bounce off of. And I feel like we bounce off each other well. And we'll
We
have
do.
more to do in season two. Big things coming.
Mm-hmm.
Follow us on our Instagram, at Switching the Narrative. My personal Instagram is Lexis Francisca. What's yours, Morgan?
Mine is Morgan 7737.
Love it. You're going to receive an invoice in your email. So we'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye, y'all.
Bye.